Good evening, Titan Nation. Welcome to another great edition of Titans in Truth. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and tonight I got a big time episode for you tonight. I'm going to basically go over some things that have been going on with training camp from what I've seen and give you my thoughts on what I think of training camp so far. And, as we know, there have been quite a few practices that have happened under the lights that I was able to attend. Friday night at Centennial High School, had a great time there. Kind of brought back memories of those Friday night football games I used to play in high school at Whitehaven High. Shout out to the Whitehaven Tigers. And then Saturday night, there was a big scrimmage at Nissan Stadium. And obviously we had not only some events on the field, but looks like we also had some events in the stands, and I'll get to that towards the end of the show about what happened in the stands on that one. And then Monday night was under the lights one more time with a nice practice under the lights and under the stars of Nashville at St. Thomas Sports Park. Really enjoyed myself with that. And so glad to have you with me tonight. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing a little something different on Titans in Truth. And hopefully that you'll very much like it and enjoy what's in store. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think about the offense, the defense, and the special teams, and give you a few highlights from some of the practices of what I've been thinking as far as what's been going on with the Tennessee Titans. And so let's get started with the offense first. First and foremost, Marcus is looking really good. He's moving around a lot. He's definitely getting a feel for the game, getting a feel back in his legs, and he feels that he is got his legs pretty much back under him. And he will be starting this Saturday night against the Jets in New York for the first preseason game. And it's good for him to get some action against another team, against somebody not wearing Titan two-tone blue and somebody who can actually try to hit him. So see how he does against the rush that actually will be coming at him, and they ain't going to pull up to stop him. So it's really going to be good to see how he does in that action. He's looking really good, moving around well, and he had some moments that showed that he is very capable of doing that. And here is a couple of here's a play that I'm going to be showing you as far as Marcus goes. As you can see right here, this is from Friday night at Centennial High. They're running the 2-minute offense. Marcus is in the shotgun with Eric Decker over here covered by Logan Ryan. And speaking of Eric Decker, he's making the catch right there. And I mean, Eric Decker has really become one of Marcus's best friends. I'm going to spread it out for you right here so that you can see it a little bit better. And I mean, Marcus and Eric are really connected, and they've connected on at a very, very short period where they've been able to find each other. And I believe this is on a third down play during the scrimmage, and this is on a 2-minute drill with that offense. They were trying to have it where they were down by 4. They needed to score to win and make a comeback. And then, of course, Marcus here was trying to find Taywan Taylor, and unfortunately it was incomplete, and they were not able to complete that comeback there. But that was a very good job of Marcus engineering that drive. He did very well on that drive, hit Decker about 3 or 4 times in that particular drive. And speaking of Eric Decker, I mean, kudos to him, because Eric Decker has really become one of Marcus's favorite targets, along with Delaney Walker, Mr. Reliable. And you've heard so much talk about Eric Decker and what he brings. He brings that presence in the red zone. He's going to be a red zone monster, in my opinion. But he also has been a security blanket for Marcus as far as catching big passes on third down. He gets open in the middle. Him and Logan Ryan have had some very nice battles in camp. And some of them Logan Ryan has won, some of them Eric Decker has won. On that particular play I just showed you, Eric Decker actually won on that particular play. And then going back, let's go back to Marcus for a minute, because there's another play I wanted to show that really shows that Marcus is in a rhythm. He is getting himself back together. Now, this play comes from Saturday's practice in the scrimmage. And this is a very big play right here. So as you can see, this is in the red zone. Marcus faked the handoff, faked out everybody, gets into the end zone. And that is going to be a big play. I think Marcus is going to use that quite a bit with the read option as well. So the read option, they're making it so that they can prove that that is still going to be a weapon. That is still going to be a weapon. They're going to expect him to still run. And he's got to be able to run. And, I mean, as you can see on the replay here, you can see this on the replay on the Titantron. Yeah, it looked like he slowed up a little bit, but then was like, I'm going to go ahead and run this in. And I really like seeing that out of Marcus. Because that shows that he is starting to try to trust his leg. And he needs to do that. He's got to trust his leg going forward because we're going to need him. And he's got to have confidence in that leg to know that it will not fail him. And they're testing that out, and I'm glad he's playing going into Saturday night. And other things I've noticed on the offense also, of course, Delanie Walker. And you've been hearing a lot about Eric Decker and Corey Davis, which I'm going to get to him a little bit later. But people tend to forget about Delanie Walker. And you can't, because Delanie Walker is still one of the best tight ends in football. I would say third behind Travis Kelce and Big Gronk, Rob Gronkowski. But he is definitely elite as far as tight end is concerned. He's made a handful of catches in practice from Marcus. He is still same old D Walker 82, and he has been very reliable. He's still going to be reliable for Marcus going through this season, so you cannot forget about him at all in this influx of weapons. And, another person I've noticed too is Keflani Muhammad. Now, Keflani Muhammad on offense has done pretty well. He's a very slippery back, very quick, has very good vision. Even though he's small in size and small in frame, he, can slip through. He could kind of get lost in the wash and then could come out untouched. But he is going to have to fight for that third running back spot because David Fluellen, with DeMarco Murray going down with the hamstring injury, David Fluellen is taking advantage of the opportunity he's been given. And, he's even gotten in a little bit of work with the ones as well. So Keflani Muhammad better watch himself because David Fluellen is coming. He is definitely trying to up his game because he's been on the practice squad the last couple of years. He's ready to make the main roster. And that's going to be definitely a matchup to watch out for, is that third running back spot. And also at receiver, you've been hearing a little bit about this guy. I think he has a very slim outside shot of making a team, but he has been turning some heads, making a few plays, and that is Mikael McKay from Cincinnati, big number 2. He is a 6'5" receiver. He is tall, rangy, can go after the ball, and he is definitely somebody to watch and keep your eye on. He's going to have to really do some big things in games to really crack that 53-man roster because you're probably going to have at least 5 wide receivers already set. And unless he can contribute on special teams, I don't know if there's going to be a place for him on the particular 53-man roster at this particular point. But next, I want to get into a little bit with Corey Davis. I definitely want to talk a little bit about him and what he brings to the table, even though he's been hurting right now. Corey Davis brings a huge dynamic to this football team. He is a legit number 1 receiver. And I know a lot of people have been saying, because he's been out with the hamstring, dealt with the little contract issue, that holdout was only 1 day, and I blame his agent for all of that, as you've probably heard me talk about. But, he's been there through OTAs, he's been there in the mini camps, and he was there in practice before he got hurt. And, right now he's week to week, and actually that's a very good sign. It's a good sign that he's not seriously hurt, and he is on taps to hopefully be ready to go week 1. But just to give you a glimpse of what we got with this player, I want to show you a big-time play that I saw in practice. Now, this is against LaShawn Sims. And you're going to hear a little audio in the background, but this is Corey Davis against LaShawn Sims. A quick go route. Look at that. Impressive. Impressive. As you can see, I'm going to go back and show it one more time because I want you to see. Running a deep route. Now, LaShawn Sims is with him the whole time. As you can see, they're both looking for the ball. But take a look at what happens next. It shows you this is what he's going to bring, especially in the red zone and just against mediocre cornerbacks that we might face, even though he's going to be facing some good ones, but against some other ones that he could take advantage with his size and his strength. Look at that. LaShawn Sims, and I can't fault LaShawn Sims on that particular play because he was in position. LaShawn Sims was in position. Corey Davis went up. He went up with him. And LaShawn Sims nearly knocked the ball away. But Corey Davis showed great anticipation and was able to bring the ball back to him. And that is incredible. And those are plays you're definitely going to see during the season. I can't wait to see those particular plays from Corey Davis. And I'm glad that they're really trying not to rush him back because we're going to need him. And, you can't rush him back. You got to let him heal so that way this won't linger, because the hamstring injury can be one that can linger and one that can cause problems going forward if they rush him back. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to take their time. He's been paying attention. He's been in the film room. He's been at practice. And I think he's going to be ready to go week 1, in my honest opinion. And so one other thing I definitely want to get on, is Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry's been looking good in practice. Don't get me wrong. Derrick Henry's looked really good with the chances that he's had. But ladies and gentlemen, I need you to pump your brakes a little bit on the Derrick Henry love fest. I know Derrick Henry's been looking really good. I know Derrick Henry is the future. He is going to be the guy, without a doubt, going forward. I know that for a fact. But DeMarco Murray is still going to be the bell cow, the number 1 back. Don't ride him off just yet. Don't push DeMarco Murray out the door just yet, because DeMarco Murray is still going to get the bulk of the carries. This guy, he led the AFC in rushing and was 3rd in the league in rushing at 1,287 yards. So as much as Derrick Henry is taking advantage of the snaps that he's gotten and has looked great, don't get me wrong, he's looked great. I can't wait to see him in preseason action and going forward. But remember, everybody, he's going to get more carries. He's going to get more involved. But DeMarco Murray is still going to be the number 1 back. He is still going to be the top running back on this team. Derrick Henry's going to get more opportunities. And DeMarco Murray may come down about 50 carries and give those carries to Derrick Henry. So everybody, he's going to get his shots. Believe me on that. But DeMarco Murray is still number 1. And that's just some of the things I have on the offense. And next, I'm going to turn to the defensive side
Titans
of
and
the ball.
Truth. I got the man himself, Jarrell Casey.
We out here live, baby.
Hey, Titans and Truth. I'm about to get him on the show one time for you. Titans and Truth exclusive. Signing my project.
There we go.
That was Jarrell Casey, y'all. New contract.
Himself, Mr. 99. You know, tatted monster himself.
See what I'm talking about? A lot of sacks coming from him.
I want to give special thank you to Mr. Jarrell Casey, Mr. 99 Problems, and that's exactly what he's going to cause. And that's what you just heard from him, the tatted monster himself. And that means it is time to talk defense for the Tennessee Titans and what I've been seeing on that side of the ball. And speaking of Mr. 99 Problems, Jarrell Casey, congratulations to him on his new $60 million contract extension that he received earlier last week. And so, you know, he's been loyal. He's been down with this team ever since he's been drafted by this team. And, you know, he had signed a contract extension, I believe back in 2013. He had 2 years left on the contract. And no, it was 2015. I'm sorry. He signed a 4-year extension. He had 2 years left on that deal. And, of course, now got extended another 4 years on top of that. So he's going to be getting a nice chunk load of money, a nice bonus. He deserves it because of everything he's done. And now he's going to get to taste some success in the playoffs, hopefully, if everything goes well with that. But I just got to give a congratulations to him on that new deal. He's been looking really good in camp. He has been causing some problems, and I would hate to be any other quarterback or offensive lineman on the other side because he is going to be a problem. That is big Jarrell Casey, the tatted monster. Also, I give shout-outs to Brian Arakpo and Derek Morgan. They're looking leaner. They're looking more fit. I think they're getting faster. And, you know, you've been hearing it from Jim Wyatt on Titans Online and also from Coach Malarkey himself at one of his press conferences. And go back and take a look at that on TitansOnline.com. He says these pass rushers are on a mission. They are on a mission, and I believe it. They are going to go after sacks. They want to get to quarterbacks, and they know if they do that, it's going to make things a lot easier on the secondary and making plays for the secondary a whole lot easier as well. So that is something that they're definitely focused on. So I definitely like what I've seen on the pass rushing front. In the scrimmage, there's been a couple of sacks. Not actual hits on Marcus, but they've gotten to him enough where they stopped play and considered them sacks. Now, talking on the linebackers, Avery Williamson has been seen getting faster. Wesley Woodyard is very much solid, you know, on that. But the guy that's really been showing out a lot is rookie Jayon Brown, the 5th-round pick from UCLA. And he looks like he is really going to do well in coverage and may help us finally solve that problem of covering tight ends. Because I was looking at a YouTube video of a guy who was breaking down the game against the Colts and, you know, the problem that we had on the last drive against the Colts when it was here was that we couldn't stop the tight end. The tight end caught a pass. I think it was Swoop or whoever his name was, caught a pass for a first down on 3rd and 14. And then Jack Doyle scores the go-ahead touchdown for the Colts, and they ended up winning the game off of that. So I think they're really trying to shore that problem up. They're really trying to work on covering the tight ends, making sure they cover backs coming out of the backfield. So those type of plays don't leak out. They're definitely working on that. He's also looked pretty good in the run game as well. So I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing out of Jayon Brown. Going into the secondary, first off, and excuse me for that, first off, you definitely got to talk about Logan Ryan. He has been a solid contributor. He's worth every bit of the money that John Robinson went out and got him for. 3 years, $30 million. He's doing it. And he's been seen, you know, playing some good coverage on Corey Davis. Also, in the practice at Centennial, he really was playing hard against Eric Decker also. Now, he's going to have to make sure he doesn't get called for flags, being very aggressive. but he's going to be a guy that he's going to make sure that any catch that you're going to make, you're going to have to earn it or he's going to stop you. And so he's really been contesting. And I also got to give some shout out and kudos to LaShawn Sims, because LaShawn Sims, he's been lining up with the ones. Everybody, is waiting for Adoree Jackson to overtake him and get on the outside and start. But LaShawn Sims is not giving up that spot without a fight. And Adoree Jackson is trying to make plays. He's trying to get into the starting lineup. I think he may start out with the nickel and he may end up being on the outside at the end. But right now, LaShawn Sims is saying, this is my spot and I'm not giving it up. And so he's really holding Adoree Jackson off. So I got to give credit to that. And of course, that's the play that I showed you earlier with Corey Davis. LaShawn Sims was in position. That really could have been a knock away. And I think on any other play, that would have been a knock away and would have prevented a touchdown there. And speaking of Adoree Jackson, I want to show you what he's been doing. He's been getting better as the time went on in camp, because he's now focused on football. Usually in college, he was a track star and he was focusing on the track team also. He didn't get a lot of spring practice. So now he's been in OTAs and a mini camp. He can solely focus on football. And here's a play from practice. I want to say this actually happened yesterday. I want to say on the 8th. So this is something I want to show as far with Adoree. If you take a look here on Jonathan Krause, gets the pick there. And you're taking a look right there, turning his head, looking for the football. I want to show this to you again. Just look at his eye. Turning and got to the ball. That is major. That is something that in the long line of corners we've had in the past, that is something you have not seen, was that knack for turning to look for the football. And that's something Jason McCourty had some issues doing, Parrish Cox. And I mean, it's simple. If you turn your head and look for the ball, you might be able to come down with it. So that's something that I've really liked and seen from the corners now. And Kevin Byard is really becoming a leader. He's becoming a leader in the secondary, really trying to communicate, because we got some new starters now. So one thing that has been key, for that, is communication, knowing where everybody is supposed to be. And so that way you don't get caught in a one-on-one situation where you're by yourself or giving up a big play. And that is something that they're definitely trying to prevent. He's been studying. He's looking like he's a veteran. I think he's in for a Pro Bowl caliber season. He gets to be the ball hawk now. I'm putting the over and under on interceptions for Kevin Byard at 4. I think he's going to go over that. I think he's going to get about 5 picks this season. So I'm really looking for some big things. Jonathan Cyprien has been doing well also in run coverage, and he's got to work on some coverage, being in the box, may have to cover a tight end or two, but he's definitely going to be solid in the run game. And Denoris Searcy, I think they're going to definitely show where they're going to line them up. All 3 safeties on the field. They're going to rotate them at times. I think Byard is going to be full-time, but I think Cyprien and Searcy are going to be splitting time, because Searcy's picked off Marcus a time or two in practice as well and has looked really good also. Kalen Reed has gotten better, and I think he has a shot maybe at making this team as a 6th corner. He could possibly make this team and help on special teams also. And I heard Demontre Hurst's name a little bit coming from Chicago. Now, I haven't heard his name as much before recently, but in the beginning of training camp, heard his name quite a bit. And so Demontre Hurst has made a few plays. He might just be able to stick in this secondary. So, that's some things I've seen defensively that could be very beneficial for this team. And so next thing we're going to definitely do is go in. I want to give a quick tidbit on special teams as well. And We're going to definitely go into that tidbit in just a second and really talk about what's going on special teams. And I want to show you a play that's really going to spark your eyes. And now let's get to special teams, because that has been a big-time weakness of this Tennessee Titans team for the last couple of years. And actually, that was a part that lost us some ball games in the past, especially the game against Houston last year, if you all remember, when there was a tie ball game. We got 3 and out. And if we just cover this kick, we might have been able to force a 3 and out and keep the game tied. But Will Fuller returned it for a touchdown. And, of course, the next day, Bobby April got fired. And, of course, the Indianapolis game, we had a messed up onside kick that we did not recover. They got a couple of points off of that, ended up winning the game off of that too. So special teams has cost us a lot of problems. And I could tell John Robinson has made that a big-time emphasis, which is why, they brought in Darren Bates. They brought in Brandon Trawick, and then also Eric Weems to help as well. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, Eric Weems might not make the team. He's not going to give you nothing on offense. Understood that. I think Eric Weems has a very good chance of making the team. Why? Because, again, he was signed around the first week of free agency because John Robinson put a huge emphasis on special teams and making that a strength, not a weakness. And so I think Eric Weems has a chance to make the team, especially if Tajay Sharp has some trouble making the team as well. And what I'm going to also show is just a little bit of footage from Monday night with the special teams unit. And, of course, they were working on – this is mainly kickoffs here. And Eric Weems has actually done pretty well, with the kickoff. And I think he not only makes the team, but I think he will be the kickoff returner. Although he is going to have some competition for that kickoff spot. And you're about to see why. You're about to see why right here. And I'm going to turn the sound up a little bit. You're going to hear me in the background.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That was Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson. And let me tell you about this kid. This kid is fast. He hits a hole. If there's a crease in the hole and he can get outside and get away, he's gone. You're not going to catch him. He could be close to Chris Johnson fast. And, yeah, I've seen it myself. He did it on some kicks. He did it on some punts. Now, the one thing he's going to have to work on, knowing when to fair catch. And if he does do kick returns, when to take a knee in the end zone, and on punts back again on punts, when to just let it go or go for a fair catch. Because one thing about Adoree, there's not too many returns he doesn't like. And there was a play during the scrimmage where a couple of guys were coming down on him, and he didn't call for a fair catch or didn't go get away from it. He tried to return it and lost a few yards. So he's going to have to be disciplined in when to make a return and when to either let the ball go or call for a fair catch. But other than that, I think the punt return job is Adoree's to lose. And on the kickoff job, I think he could take that one too. But even though that is one of the most violent plays in football, they may let Eric Weems start off with that because Adoree's got to be able to play on defense, and we need him on defense as well with that. But also, I don't think Keflani Muhammad's going to be doing special teams as well. And with David Fluellen catching up to him in the running back department, Keflani Muhammad is in danger of not making his team. He may end up on the practice squad because on Monday he was working on punts, and he muffed 3 punts in a row. And you know that could be detrimental to any type of game. If you do that and the other team recovers, they got a chance to score off of that. Or you may end up in bad field position with those type of mistakes. So I don't think Kevlani Muhammad's going to be doing much returning. We'll see in some games what happened with him, because I think he's not been doing a lot of punt returning in college. I think he's been mainly doing kick returns. But I don't think he's going to be a factor with that very much. But I like Ajax returning punts. I think he has a chance to return kicks, but I think Eric Weems is going to be doing that to begin the year. Excuse me for that. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a very quick break, and I'm going to give a quick word from our sponsor of Titans in Truth. You're going to want to check this out, and that is from my lovely friend, Miss Allison Conley of Rose Jewels Boutique. Check this out, and we'll be right back in just a moment right here on Titans in Truth. Hi, guys. This is Chris Newell from Titans in Truth. Ladies, are you looking for that specific jewelry that's unique and helps you stand out? Something you will never find in other jewelry stores? Fellas, you might be looking for that special jewelry for that special lady in your life. Or you might be looking for some bling for yourself. Well, check out Rose Jewel Boutique and my friend Allison Conley. Ladies, she can make jewelry in a way that you want it and to your particular taste. Check this picture out here. Fellas, you want a little bit of bling or something that you can find special too? She does male jewelry as well. Check out these bracelets that she's made. Now look, I don't say this about Rose Jewel Boutique because they are a sponsor of the show or that she is a friend of the show. I say this because I am a valued customer. Take a look at these pictures from our wedding. You really want to find out how to get this special jewelry? Check her out right here. Check her out on Facebook, Instagram, or go to rosejewelboutique.com. She can ship anywhere. And make sure you tell her that Chris from Titans in Truth sent you.
Titans in Truth exclusive. Got my guy Sylvester Williams.
Hey, shout out Titans in Truth, man. Let's get it.
There it is right there. There it is. Hopefully get some big time play at the defensive line.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna hold down the middle.
Time to go to work.
There it is right there. Yeah. You're gonna hear more of that. Titans in Truth. Thank you, Sylvester.
Welcome back to Titans in Truth, everybody. Thank you very much for sticking with me tonight and checking out this edition. We've had a really good show so far, and now it is time to get to one of my favorite parts of the show, and that is called Pick My Brain. Pick My Brain, and this is where we get you involved. And, of course, I've asked you to send in some questions to me that you want to know from camp. And, of course, I give a big shout out to my guy, Jeffrey Humphrey, because he hit me up with some questions on Titans in Truth. He hit me up with some questions during Monday's practice, so I talked to him. But, of course, now I want to get to some questions from each and every one of you as well. So we're going to definitely get into that, and I am very much excited to do that. So let's get right down to business on that. First question, I want to give a shout out to Brandon Bowers, my old friend from Logan's. What's up with you, sir? And the first couple of questions are going to come from my guy, Mr. Sean O'Mahony. And I give him a shout out for all the Titans fans over in Ireland. And so Titans in Truth is worldwide, y'all. I done reached Europe. So I've gotten over to the Luck of the Irish with Mr. Sean O'Mahony, which he asked, his first question was, who have been standout vets and rookies so far in training camp? And first off, I got to say Delaney Walker. He's been Mr. Reliable. A lot of people have talked about a lot of the other weapons. We cannot forget about Delaney Walker. He is definitely going to be a big-time contributor on this team. So, we can't forget about him. He's going to, his production might dip a little bit, but he's still going to be elite. So that's no doubt about it. Eric Decker being a security blanket, like I've been talking about earlier. He's going to really be big in the red zone. I think he's going to have about 7 or 8 touchdowns in the red zone alone. He's going to be big. LaShawn Sims has stood out because he's been holding off for Dory Jackson for that number 2 cornerback slot. Now, I'm giving Dory Jackson some love, too, because of what he's done in special teams, and he's made some plays on defense as well. And then Kevin Byard as well. Kevin Byard really becoming a leader, studying, knowing the defense very well. He's going to be a ball hawk, and he's going to be a Pro Bowler. And shout out to Kevin Dodd. Coach Malarkey has basically made it known, don't bring up the whole thing with the foot anymore, because Kevin Dodd is good to go. He's not hurting, and we're going to see how he looks in game action as well. So shout out to Kevin Dodd on that. Second question, he said, who do you see being the returner? Like I mentioned before, I believe Adoree Jackson has the punt return job on lock. There's nobody else that's going to beat him out for that. I do think Eric Weems may start off the season on kick returns, and they may give it to Adoree Jackson before the end of the year. And I think that's why Eric Weems makes the team, but I think he'll start off there. His third question he asked about is, will Mariota push on and be better this season, or will his injury tamper him in training camp? I would say he's going to push on. He's going to push on and be just fine. He's been moving around well. A lot of people thought that he wouldn't even be able to practice in OTAs or the mini camp, and he would be very limited in training camp. And they were thinking that he may be able to see a little bit of preseason action, but they were sliding him to go for week 1 against the Raiders. Marcus has done everything. They held him back a little bit in OTAs, but as OTAs went on, they took off the reins a little bit and let him go a little bit more. Training mini camp, he did very well. And training camp, he's been a full go. They have not held him back. And he also asked, from what you've seen in camp, do you think we are playoff caliber? I say we are ready. And we got the team to not only make the playoffs, but we're going to do some damage in the playoffs too. I really do believe that. I apologize for that brief interruption there. But I do believe that we do have a team that is not only capable of making the playoffs, but doing some damage while we're in there. And I think we could definitely get a first-round game at home. I think we could win that game and get to the divisional round. Some even have slated us to maybe even get to the AFC Championship and eventually lose to the New England Patriots. But we'll have to see. But I think they're definitely playoff caliber. Who is most improved? Offense or who is most improved? I'm sorry. The answer to that is, I would have to say the O-line has really gotten stronger as a unit. I like how they have been together, unified, from the Predators game to times in training camp and OTAs. They just celebrated Quentin Spain's birthday. The entire offensive line, celebrated his birthday, and then the whole team celebrated it. So I liked how they were unified. As far as offense and defense, which has excelled, I think the offense has always looked pretty good. I think the defense has excelled and has gotten a lot better. I think we have a much better secondary than what we trotted out there before, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. But I like the defense looking much better. The next question is going to come from my homegirl, Miss Priscilla Brown, and I'm glad she got added onto the group, so welcome in. And the question she says is, who's performing better, DeMarco Murray or Derrick Henry? Well, Priscilla, the obvious choice has to be Derrick Henry, since DeMarco Murray's been out with the hamstring injury and he's not going to play Saturday against the Jets. Derrick Henry has been getting a lot of reps with the first team. Now, again, Derrick Henry is not going to be the starting running back, at least starting off this season. That's DeMarco Murray. He's going to be starting. But Derrick Henry is going to get a lot more carries now. DeMarco Murray carried the ball 280 times last year. I think that comes down to about 230, and I think Derrick Henry carries will go up from 110 to about 160, maybe even 170 carries. So he's going to get more action. He's been running with purpose, and he looks strong. He looks strong and quick. I definitely like the look of that. And now my next questions are coming from Mr. Jay Thompson. And he basically said, do you think we have enough talent to make it to the Super Bowl after watching camp for a few weeks? I'm not going to say they're Super Bowl ready yet. They're not ready yet. That's the key word, yet. They are definitely playoff ready, and they are definitely ready to do some damage, but they may not be Super Bowl ready yet. I say give it another year, have some success in the playoffs, then we could say they may be close to Super Bowl ready. And another question he says, also, have our corners started to defend the deep ball better this year, or are they still getting beat constantly? He thinks that's something that has held us back greatly. And to answer that question, the corners are definitely defending the deep ball a lot better, and mainly because they are turning their heads looking for the ball more. That's been the key. They have been looking for the ball instead of just looking at the man, playing the man, and just trying to anticipate what the receiver is doing. While the receiver is looking for the ball, the corners in the past have been looking at the man and try to react to what the receiver does. Instead, they're turning back looking for the ball, which has led to more interceptions in camp. So that is something that I'm definitely seeing better. I think they are better, which, of course, I showed you earlier with Adoree Jackson's pick and what Sims did against Corey Davis earlier as examples. Now, I will say Taywan Taylor has beaten a couple of other receivers deep. I don't think they've been Adoree or LaShawn. I think it's been some other corners, but that's still a work in progress, but I think they have gotten better. And last but not least, I had a few questions, of course, from my man, Mr. Brandon Cleaves, who has asked, what should we expect the number of wide receivers we keep? I think we're keeping 6. I think we're definitely keeping 6 corner wide receivers. Definitely on that. I think that's the number we're definitely going to keep as far as wide receivers go. And now the second question we're asking is, are we getting the same feel we got last year out of our cornerbacks? Because last year our quarterbacks looked okay in training camp and preseason, and come week 1, bombs start to drop. That is a very good point. I think our corners are looking way better than what we have last year. And I think a lot of that is also going to help with the pass rush also. I think Adoree Jackson is fast and can keep up with speedy corners. Logan Ryan brings a lot more experience and brings that Super Bowl pedigree. And then also LaShawn Sims, who really came on at the end of the year, really starting to shine in training camp. He ain't giving that spot up. So I think Logan Ryan, Adoree Jackson, and LaShawn Sims are going to start. Bryce McCain is okay. I wouldn't be too comfortable with him in there. But again, Kalen Reed might do something to make the team. And Demontrus Hurst has done a few things as well. And we'll definitely see. And also our safeties are better. So I definitely do like that. And I'm going to go back to the first question with Brandon as well about the receivers. Again, I said there'll be 6. We don't know what's going to happen with Tajay. I think as of now he'll make the team. But then that means you got Trey McBride, Eric Weems, Harry Douglas, Jonathan Krause, all fighting for that one spot. And even though McKay has come on strong, I think Eric Weems gets that last spot. I think Harry Douglas finally gets his walking papers. And I think Trey McBride might end up going to, even though he's made some plays. That's going to be a tough spot. Now, if Tajay Sharp has some legal issues as far as it going to trial, he could get cut as well. And that opens up 2 spots as far as the receiver. And I think Eric Weems is guaranteed to make the team. And maybe that opens up for Trey McBride or McKay to make the team. And last but not least, Do you ever think J-Rob will snatch a big-name free agent and drop the bank? I don't know right now. I don't think that's something that he'll do unless it is somebody who has got a lot of production and is somebody that is going to be worth the money. We got about $40 million in cap space, but we got a lot of players coming up on contracts. Avery Williamson's in a contract year right now. Next offseason, we're going to be working on Taylor Lewan, extending him. Marcus's contract is going to be coming soon, and we're going to have to pay him money. Eventually, Jack Conklin's going to have to get paid. Also, you got some other guys who are going to be coming up. Are we going to keep Brian Arakpo and Derek Morgan? And, Kevin Byard maybe soon as well. So we got to really watch out for those as far as contracts go. But if there's a player out there that can really help the team be team first, dependable, and is worth the money, then I could see it. But right now, I think we're going to be trying to retain our own players right now. So that looks like that was everything I got for Pick My Brain. And I thank everybody for your questions. Thank everybody for your responses. And now we're going to get ready to wrap up the show. And we're going to get ready to do some last things before we do wrap everything up for the show. First thing, as far as I'm concerned, it's time for the Blue Bombshell. It is time for my Blue Bombshell for this show. And a question that was asked was about the fight that happened at training camp. And that was between Quinn Spain and Avery Williamson on a play. And it looked like it got a little rough between those guys. But JR quickly went in there along with some position coaches. They broke that up. Nobody got hurt. It quickly got dispersed. And so that won't be an issue going forward with that. But another fight I want to talk about, and this went viral, is something that happened Saturday during the scrimmage. And this is what I believe this happened before I showed up. And so I'm going to try to get you some action on here. And so, as you can see right there, you take a look at this fight. I mean, this is crazy. Titan fans, this is something I do not condone. We're all trying to tighten up together. We got to stick together as a fan base. We ain't got time to fight each other. I mean, come on. Stuff like this is ridiculous. Treat each other with respect. You got to give respect in order to get it. If there's something happening, talk it out. You ain't got to resort to fighting. This is something that we don't need to do. And, I mean, the guy that retaliated, the guy that started the fight ended up sticking around. The guy that retaliated, obviously something went wrong because he was trying to leave and security got him. He was trying to leave, and so the other fans try to hold him up and everything. So obviously you're hearing that going on. I don't know if it was for this guy or for something that happened on the field, but that's something that just doesn't need to happen. Yeah, it's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's funny, but in a long shot, it's really not funny. It's kind of embarrassing for our fan base to look like that. But that's just some things that I saw as far as in the fight. And quickly before we do wrap up everything, I asked a question about foods that, what foods do you enjoy when you go to a football game? Whether it be concessions or tailgating, what is something that you enjoy? And I didn't get many response on that. I got one or two that I'm going to read out, and I'm going to tell you mine. Most of the time, I always get something to eat before I go to the game because sometimes concessions are a bit high. But if I was to go to concessions at Nissan Stadium, I'm going to Logan's, and I'm getting either the chicken finger basket at Logan's or I'm getting one of those good, juicy cheeseburgers. I enjoy those. The chicken tenders is very much of a value. I believe it's like $6. You get chicken tenders and fries with that. So that's something I like. and the burgers I like. So I definitely go to Logan's, the Logan's stands if I'm getting some food inside. If I was ever tailgating, barbecue, a good turkey leg, some barbecue chicken. That's something that I would do if it was me and I was tailgating before a game. And that might be something that maybe I'll look into in seasons going on in the future. I don't know yet because I know it takes a lot to do some tailgating. And that's something that I'm going to definitely try to do this year is to, see some tailgating before the game and check that out. But I did get one from a Mr. Kihai Salvador. Shout out to my man, Mr. Salvador, over there in Hawaii, all the way over there. And he says, in the 808, food for tailgating, you got to have some poke. I guess that's some raw fish. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I would probably cook my fish, but maybe that's something that you can grill on the grill, or I like to fry my fish. So that's something that may be a Hawaiian custom, which, I like to try it if it's cooked up good. He said something to go with an adult beverage and also some steaks. And that's something that I'm going to try to experiment with grilling-wise is cooking some steaks. I do like a good ribeye. I can't lie about that. So I definitely like a good ribeye. So nothing against that right there. But also before we get out of here, shout out to the Titans Fan Club of Memphis. Getting into the Hall of Fans, I was able to join my man Larry Garman, my frat brother, Blue 5, and some of the other Titan divas, taking pictures and joining the Hall of Fans. So congratulations to the Titans Fan Club of Memphis for doing that. And, that's going to pretty much do it for me tonight. And I'm going to send y'all off with a very special thank you to Sylvester Williams, to Jarrell Casey, and also this special thank you from our lovely owner, Miss Amy Adams Strunk. So I'm going to get out of here. Check out this message as we end the show. Check it out. Share this, subscribe to the page, get on Titans and Truth fan page. Also subscribe to that, like it, join it, subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word about this. This show is going big. I got a lot of big things coming going into the future. So definitely get ready for that. Titans and Truth, I am out. I will holler at y'all next week. Tighten up.
Miss Amy Adams Strunk, everybody. Titans and Truth exclusive. The lovely owner of our Tennessee Titans, Miss Amy.
Tighten up.
There you go. There you go.
Number one.
Titans and Truth exclusive, y'all.